My name is James Ham and I'm farming here along with my wife Martina on the edge of the village of Mooyvore in County Westmeath. It's the family farm and remains so today because our son and daughter, while they're not here at home, are also have an input into it. We farm 132 acres or 52 hectares with a suckler herd and some spring barley grown to be self-sufficient in feed, but half the farm is now under deforestation and woodland. We feel that this complements the whole thing. The forestry element of the farm is, as usual, a lot of conifers, but we've mixed up the species and we also have a lot of broadleaves in it. Oak, alder, birch, pine, larch, Douglas fir, Norway spruce, etc., etc. But the critical thing for us in the forestry is that we're managing it on continuous cover forestry principles. So it'll never be clear felled. We develop it so that it continues to grow and develop and produce timber, but also creates a range of habitats for all the wildlife that are now on the farm. When we talk about the hedge systems on the farm, sometimes we forget these are man-made structures, and you know, they're there for a couple of hundred years. They were planted primarily as field divisions before post and wire. And if we look at hedges here, they are most definitely in excess of 200 years of age. We can happily say that they're actually in reasonably good condition, and that could be attributed and should be attributed to what people before me has done by hedge laying. Now, in this case here, we can see that this hedge has begun to grow up and become heavier in its stems, and you have a bit of a spread on it, and if we look into it then we can see somewhere along the line that is beginning to get gappy. So what to do? Well, of course, my answer to that is take on a section every winter and continue the laying process. Only last February, which is only 6 months ago, we finished laying this section here. Straight away after the laying process, it has continued to grow, and it had become thick, and it actually flowered immediately because we have a lot of sloes on the blackthorn here. The bush was still vibrant enough that it would put out flowers and blossoms and produce a lot of fruit. And that is where we're talking about providing a resource for birds to overwinter. At this stage now, we've left what is the grassland part of the farm, or the livestock element of the farm, and we're into the relatively new enterprise of the afforested area. I'm reluctant to call it forestry in a way, even though that's the general modern term for what we have here. We're developing it as a woodland. It is a woodland. We're going to manage it so that it becomes a better woodland. But we also intend and need that some commercial aspect of it has to be there as well. So we have to make a living or get something to sell out of it in the future, because as a farm we won't survive unless we have a product which can be sold on to generate an income to keep the family farming it. These beech trees were planted sometime in the early 1800s, and they're coming to the end of their day now. But in the time that they've been here, an understory has come under them. You have things like wood avens growing under them, more wild strawberry there, herb Robert. All these plants that were there along with these beech trees for the last 100 odd years are now ready to move into what we have planted in a new woodland forestry. And then when we left the spaces open, plants reappeared that were probably there already but had been lying back, maybe a little bit subdued due to the normal farming activities, and when they got their chance they reappeared and just are doing their own thing, and it's great. You have greater plantain here along with clover. The list goes on. The biggest problem I have is I don't know all the names. I have to learn the names now because we weren't familiar with them. I don't see the forestry woodland element as anything different. It's still part of the farm. It's not a farm and forestry. It's a farm with forestry as one of the elements on it. And Martina has done a list of all the bird species that actually live and use and feed on the farm. And over the entire 132 acres now, woodland and grassland and hedgerow, cereals, the whole lot, she has made a list of 56 different species of birds. We don't need to be expending a lot of energy and expense going recreating something that's artificial. It's there already. If we learn to appreciate it, learn what's in it, we actually don't have to do anything. Nature will do the rest. We, of course, need to remember then that if the farm is healthy for nature, it's healthy for us.